Hey everyone, give me just a couple minutes and I will be on here. Good evening, everyone. It's been a while, huh? I had to make sure I got Gannon's face up there on the screen. Let me see who's here. Hey, Just Joan. Hi, Angie. Hi, Kara. Hi, Yvette. I don't know why you didn't get a notification. Hey, Doodlebug. Hi, Dee. Hey, Amy. Hi, Carla. Hey, Joe. Hi, Jenny. Hi, CB and Melinda. So, hi to everybody I didn't say hi to. What a day, huh? It's been a crazy week, I think, for all of us. Absolute insanity for everybody. And when this notification popped on my phone, I was literally like I had to do a double take because I don't think any of us seen it coming. It totally caught me off guard. I know it seems like everybody off guard, just judging by Facebook posts in the Facebook group and online. I truly think what we witnessed was a case of divine intervention. And although it's a very, very sad day, I don't want to say it's a happy day too, but it is a day of peace. I mean, I can't imagine the heartache that Landon and Al and the family are feeling, but I also can't imagine the heartache that they were feeling not knowing where he was. So I think we have to see the silver lining and be thankful that Gannon was found today and that he didn't lay out there for another 6 weeks, 6 months, 6 years. I mean, it's just crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Where he was found, the location is puzzling. I think it's being pieced together. But I'm so glad he was found. So glad he was found. I can't begin to imagine either, Radmilla. I can't imagine. And Gannon's great aunt confirmed that he was discarded in a suitcase. If you go back, I believe it's my February 7th live, I talked about that missing suitcase from the hospital, oh my gosh, the house. I don't know what the hell's wrong with her. I really don't. I don't know what goes through people's heads. I think this is the hard part where you try to figure out answers and you try to figure out why and how and when, and you're just like, what? How? How does somebody do this? Look at his face. He's an 11-year-old little boy, and she threw him on the side of the road like garbage. I can't even wrap my head around. Yeah, I think that's probably the best way to describe it, swerving in my lanes. Acid runs through her veins. I don't know. I don't think there's words to describe her. But I'm glad that Gannon's found. I'm glad that his parents are going to sleep tonight, not wondering where their little boy is laying. I think it was last week that I suggested that maybe she had drove across the country with him. And then when I pieced together all of the FBI agents from the witness list, you can kind of look at that list and you can see the trail that she left. You can see her drive across the US. I hope so too, Norma. They get the news in jail, don't they? I'm sure somebody told her. I'm sure. Yeah, I don't think they've had very much sleep either, Thursday's Child. I think they've lived in absolute hell for almost 2 months now. What is today? I'm even lost on the dates. Today's the 20th of March, so let's count the weeks, because I'll be honest with you guys, I've lost count since. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It was 7 weeks Monday. 7 weeks on Monday that he went missing. And she was arrested on the 3rd, I believe, or the 2nd, maybe the 2nd. Yeah, because it was 5 weeks to the day that she was arrested on Monday the 2nd. So I hope not, Judy. I hope nobody was mean. I don't know. I don't even want to go there. Yeah, Amanda, that's how I felt today. I'm just, obviously it's very, very, very sad. It's heartbreaking, but there's a lot of anger. I mean, how? How do you do that to a little boy? I agree with you, Kay, as she would have never told where he was. I agree with you. Yeah, I don't know how they're going to defend her. I don't know. We do live in this country, though, where everybody has a right to be presumed innocent until proven guilty in the court of law. I'm really thankful that YouTube is not the court of law, because I would not make a good juror on this case at all. I wouldn't, and I don't think many of us would. Carla, I think we can only assume that she drove him to Florida. That is about the only assumption that we can come up with. If you look at the list of the FBI agents, I went over this last week because somebody had said that, you know, the witness list wasn't important. So I dug through it and I came up with 89 FBI agents across 10 states that were involved in this investigation. And it was interesting to see that just south of Colorado, there was an agent in Amarillo, Texas, one agent in Abilene, Texas, one agent in Frisco, Texas, One agent in Shreveport, Louisiana, one agent in Monroe, Louisiana, one agent in Jackson, Mississippi. And then there were 4 agents in Jacksonville, one agent in Dalton, Georgia. So, and if you look at the route that she would have had to go to drive south to Texas out of Colorado, she would have went through New Mexico or possibly Oklahoma into Texas. She actually drove like 500 miles longer going that way. So, you're welcome, Just Shelley. I feel like she was pretty confident that she was not going to get pulled over or something. I don't know. We don't know the details. I'm assuming on all of that she drove him. It's baffling, actually. It's baffling. Let's see if I can. I don't know. I didn't send any pictures or anything to my computer before I came on live, so I might be able to get one up here of where he was found. Swerving in my lane. I don't know. If she went through Memphis, she would have stopped, I would guess, at her good old buddy. What is that person's name? Cabin Life at Eden Springs. But I don't know. The route that we have doesn't take her through Tennessee. She would have came down through Texas, across Texas, over to Louisiana. Yeah, I haven't heard that, Just Shelley, but I also haven't been looking online or anything. I've just kind of maintained myself in my own lane here and not looked anywhere else, just because it's been a crazy week and I think everything's a little overwhelming at this point between a pandemic and then this coming in today. It's like brain overload. I don't know, CB. I'm kind of torn on that. I've been firm that I didn't think that she had help, but when the DA wouldn't comment about there being other people involved, I don't know. It kind of left me thinking, I don't know. So those new charges that were filed, I will read them. I don't believe that necessarily means that was used. I think they're covering all their bases. I could be wrong. I could totally be wrong, but I will read them. Yeah, Joe, I agree with you. It has the word conspiracy in it. Okay. I read them earlier, but I read them way earlier. I'll be reading them for the 3rd time, I think, on this live with you guys. I didn't really plan on coming on tonight. I was going to wait till tomorrow, but I had a lot of people message me, so I thought it was only right that I come on here and give a little update tonight since I have covered Gannon's case extensively. It's only fair to all of you. We've all walked this journey together for the last 7 weeks, and it's only fair that we keep walking it together, right? Hey, Madam Deficit. You think she took I-20, Joe? Yeah. Yeah. Let me pull the charges up really quick. I have them right here. So what they did is they added charges. to her already existing charges. And the charges that were added were, on the first-degree murder charge, the specification of deliberation was added, and 8 counts of a crime of violence for the alleged use of a firearm, blunt instrument, a knife, or other sharp object, and for causing the death of Gannon Strong. These new charges are added to the original 4 charges already against her. So let me see if I have the documents here. I thought I saved them. I don't know if I have count 6. Okay, I have counts starting at count 7. I don't know if I have them all in front of me. If not, you can find them. They are in our Facebook group, and they are all over online. Count 7, a crime of violence on or about January 27th, 2020, Letitia Strong unlawfully used or possessed and threatened the use of a deadly weapon, namely blunt instrument, during the commission of, attempted commission of, or conspiracy to commit, or the immediate flight from the offense of murder in the first degree after deliberation as charged in count 1. Count 8, crime of violence. On or about January 27th, 2020, Letitia Strong unlawfully used or possessed and threatened the use of a deadly weapon, namely a knife or other sharp instrument, during the commission of, attempted commission of, conspiracy to commit, or the immediate flight from the offense of the murder in the first degree after deliberation as charged in count 1. It goes on the same for count 9, and it specifies count 9, a crime of violence on January 27th, 2020, Letitia Strong, during the commission, attempted commission of, conspiracy to commit, or immediate flight from the crime of murder in the first degree after deliberation as charged in count 1, unlawfully caused the death of Gannon Strong, a person not a participant in the crime. Count 10, crime of violence on or about January 27th, 2020, Letitia Strong unlawfully used or possessed and threatened the use of a deadly weapon, namely a firearm, during the commission of, attempted commission of, conspiracy to commit, or the immediate flight from the offense of murder in the first degree. A child under the age of 12 years old as charged in count 2. Count 11, on or about January 27th, 2020, Letitia Strong unlawfully used or possessed and threatened the use of a deadly weapon, namely a blunt instrument, during the commission of, attempted commission of, conspiracy to commit, or the immediate flight from the offense of murder in the first degree of a child under 12 years of age as charged in count 2. So it looks like they took those items and they applied them to count 1 and count 2. The first degree murder charge, and then the second charge is now first degree murder of a child under 12 years of age and a person of trust, if I'm understanding it right. So they moved the original first charge was murder in the first degree of a person under the age of 12 in a person of trust. They moved that down to count 2, and count 1 has now became murder in the first degree with deliberation, which means that she had to put some thought into killing Gannon. There's some sort of premeditation there. People often get confused with premeditation, though, and they think that it has to be planned out for a long period of time, and it does not. Premeditation can literally be 2 seconds long. I'm not discounting what they've charged her with or defending her in any way. It just means that she had time to think about what she did. So enough time to think, to not go forth with her actions and cause the death of somebody. It's literally, that's how premeditation works. She will not be charged in Florida. She is being charged in Colorado. Colorado has the death penalty as well up until July, I believe. I don't know the specific day. Is it July 1st? But I believe it was a couple weeks ago. Didn't the prosecutor say that he was going to pursue the death penalty? It doesn't mean that she'll ever get it, unfortunately. It doesn't. But CB, can she be convicted of 2 first-degree murder charges? Yes, she can, because they're different. One is for the premeditation, and one is for killing a child under the age of 12 who was in her care. She was considered a person of trust to Gannon, and the charges against her say that she went against that trust and he was a child under the age of 12. Yes, Jessica Turner. Absolutely. It was time to think of the crime and in the right state of the mind to know what she was doing. I just don't want people to think that because she's charged with deliberation or premeditation, that they're the same thing, that she planned this out forever, because it doesn't mean that. It doesn't. Could it? Sure, it could, but it's not necessarily what they're saying. They're just saying that she had time to not do what she did. She had time to think about her actions. She knew what she was doing, and they're holding her accountable for that. So, that's a good question, Sue. Why aren't the feds taking this case? There's too much politics involved in the death penalty here in Colorado. I don't know. I mean, I guess we could look at it like this. How long does the average person, I haven't looked this up in a long time, how long does the average person that gets sentenced to death row sit on death row for before they actually die, before they're actually put to death? I want to say it was like in the 15 to 20 year range the last time I checked. So let's say she gets the death penalty. Do I think she'll get it? I don't, because of what's going on in Colorado. I think she's definitely going to spend the rest of her life in prison. I would much rather her sit in a Colorado prison than sit in a federal prison, because federal prisons are like the hotels of prisons. They're like the Hiltons. What are you guys discussing? If she was on drugs? Is that what you're saying? Yeah, the DA did say that, Becca, that the murder was in their jurisdiction, and they did say on the press conference, because people were questioning. I did see this earlier. People were questioning if Gannon was alive in this time frame between January 27th and to when he was found. But if you go back to the press conference when they charged her on March 2nd, they did state, and those charges do state, that they believe that Gannon was killed on January 27th, on or about. I agree, Carla. No federal prison for her. They're like country clubs. Yes, great point, Amanda. Now she has no bargaining tool now. Nothing. They have his body, and that is a game changer when it comes to this case. A huge game changer. It's really big. No more fancy jewels or trips. Vera or Kate Spade bags. Straight up orange jumpsuit. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. You might see her get transferred around the country like Chris Watts. Who knows? Who knows? But I just I don't know. What are you guys' thoughts on the death penalty? I'm kind of in the gray area and I'm not really a gray person. I'm usually a black and white person, but the death penalty is one that I feel a lot of different emotions towards. And I will say that whatever a family wants, I will always support that, always, because that's not my place. But I agree that the death penalty is too easy for her. I kind of think it's too easy in general. That's my general take on it. But Yvette, I've seen a couple that put her in Florida, but I don't know that I can confirm it. I'm with you, Amy. I think it's the easy way out. Oh, I know, Madam Deficit. I know. That's how I feel. You know, when they announced that they believed that he was murdered, obviously everybody heard me sobbing and I was very upset and we were all very upset. And I think today I'm shocked or I'm angry or something, or maybe it's just the past week and then this being the icing on the cake to the ending of a very long week and I'm speechless. Yeah, I wish. That is a good question, Bewitched. How long would the journey take from the home in Colorado to Florida? That is a good question. I can Google it. I did not pull it up. I know what the total journey is. I want to say, well, I don't even know because if she went from Colorado Springs and she dropped down across I-20 and came across all the southern states to Florida up to I-90, it was about 2,100 miles from Colorado to South Carolina. Let me Google, what do you say, Christy B, 21 hours from Colorado Springs to Pace, Florida, so a full day. Yeah, I don't even know. Could she do that? Because they're asking for information about her being there in that area on February 3rd through 5th. Um, so one of the reasons I kept coming to the conclusion that I know I said this last week that I thought it was a strong possibility that she drove across the U.S. with him and dumped him somewhere between Colorado and South Carolina was because of the climate in Colorado and how many searches, and they concentrated on that one area for about, what was it, about 7 days or so? They concentrated on that one area north of their house that was a pretty desolate area, but so Colorado, when Gannon went missing on January 27th, that's winter there, and we watched as this case progressed, multiple snowstorms come in. You can assume that the ground was frozen. Um, so I didn't really think it was possible that she could have buried Gannon in Colorado. That was one of the reasons I leaned towards him being left somewhere else. And today we know that he was left in Pace, Florida, which is a very small town outside of Pensacola in the Panhandle, on the side of, it's not exactly I-10, it was on the side of a bridge. Let me see if I have the picture yet. I sent it to myself. Let me see. Okay, so I have to stop sharing to look. Bear with me, guys. I mean, I think there's still a lot of things on the table. Yeah, the Escambia, am I saying it right? River Bridge, that's the name of the bridge. I have a picture of it. I don't know. Earlier I talked to True Helper and I texted him, and I don't know. I'm not sure. I know earlier his thoughts were that she probably had help, and I was like, I don't think so. I always come back to that old saying that loose lips sink ships, and she went for 5 weeks without being arrested or charged. And the more people you have involved in a crime, Escambria, thank you. Oh, did I add an R in there? Escambia. Okay. Thank you, Amy. But I think when you have more people involved in a crime, the quicker you're caught. I don't know. So it said that 2 county workers, I believe, who were working at a construction site on the road found him. They found him on the side of the road. I have to pull up the picture. Maybe. Like, thank God that they found him. I mean, but then you have to wonder, when you see this area, you have to wonder how nobody saw this suitcase there this whole time. That is a question. But we don't know how he was found either. Okay, so hold on one second. All right, I'll try to get a picture up here. Just bear with me, guys. I'm going to put him back up on the screen because it's not showing yet. Let me... Amy actually let me know that deliberation and premeditation are different, so I need to look that up too. I assumed they were the same or along the same lines. Isn't it different by state though, Amy? Maybe I'm thinking of it wrong. I could be thinking of it wrong. My brain is like a tornado the past couple days. Let me look it up while I'm on here. Probably should have did that first. So the difference between the two, deliberation and premeditation, is semantics? If I'm reading that right? That's a good question, Christina. What made her wait until Florida? Why not Texas or Louisiana? It's a good question. Let's see. Okay, so premeditation requires that the defendant think out the act, no matter how quickly. And deliberation means that the person considers the act and its consequences, but not necessarily the punishment, and decides to follow through with it. A deliberate act is not provoked or carried out in the heat of passion. But that a defendant was excited or angry doesn't mean that she or he was not deliberate. So she can't use being angry and snapping on Gannon as a reason to kill him. But I believe within deliberation is premeditation, because I mean, like this describes it. Premeditation can be as simple as deciding to pick up a hammer that is lying nearby and use it as a weapon. So they kind of go hand in hand, but the way she is charged, thank you for clarifying it for me, Amy. The way that she is charged with deliberation. So they are saying that she considered what she did and the consequences, maybe not the punishment, but decided to go through with it anyways. And within that deliberation, there is always premeditation. They're semantics, really. Yeah. She did have a thing for BG settings, didn't she? So I'm going to send Hmm. One second. Can you guys hear my wind chimes in the background? Oh, Sparta, I didn't even think of that. Ugh. Oh, I'm glad you can hear him, Joan. Okay, so I'll drop this. Maybe Amy can explain the deliberation and premeditation better than I can, because yeah, I'm a little frazzled. Is anybody else feeling that way this week? It's been absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. My kids have been home all week. You know. She's so worried about appearances I think it was accidental and she couldn't bear being cast in that light and she had to do something to get rid of him. Huh. Okay, Amy's gonna come on. Yeah, Christina, it's been really rough. That is a great question, Angie Montgomery. What did she do with him until she left South Carolina? Hey, Amy.
Hey, sorry. I was driving you crazy.
You're fine. You're fine. Oh, um, so maybe you can describe or see, I can't even talk right.
Yeah, no.
Define the difference between
Okay. So, premeditation is specific intent to commit a crime for some period of time, however short, before the actual crime occurred. Okay, so there's a planning ahead of time. So, you make a list and you leave your house and you go and do it. Deliberation means that the intent to kill was formed while defendant was in a cool state of mind and not under the influence of a violent passion suddenly aroused by sufficient provocation. So, and they define it as it could be minutes, a very short period of time, meaning she had time to reconsider her actions. She wasn't in a blind rage. She just decided whatever had happened, I'm not going to use Letitia. The person decides, like, whatever happened up to that point, the only option right now is to kill. They actually stop and consider it. They deliberate about it. Where premeditation is like, I'm going to leave my house and I'm going to go do this right now. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah, it completely makes sense. But I think where those two are interchangeable is that within deliberation, there is premeditation because she has time to think about that act. Does that make
Right.
sense?
It does. It's just not like when they're talking like in legal terms, they're
Mm-hmm.
completely different.
Okay.
Yeah, because premeditation is like, um, I hate my next door neighbor. And so I'm going to wait for her husband to go to work. And I'm going to walk over there and I'm going to ask her for a cup of sugar. And when she turns her back, I'm going to clock her over the head with a baseball bat. Okay.
Right.
Deliberation would be I got in a fight with my neighbor and I said some terrible things and I kicked her door and now I'm afraid that she's going to sue me or whatever. And I sit there for a second and I think, well, I'll be in some trouble, but I could just walk away. And then I take a breath and I go, no, I'm just going to end this now and try to get away with it. And I'm going to clock her over the head with a bat.
Hmm.
That's the difference.
Okay.
Yeah. It's deliberation is almost worse because, well, I mean, they're both bad, but you have the opportunity to walk away and not do the bad thing.
Right. Right.
Premeditation, when you leave your house, you're on a mission.
Right.
So yeah, and I
Huh.
love my neighbors. I just couldn't think of anything else to say. It was terrible. So
Uh, that's somebody else. That's the theory I saw today, and that's interesting to me. She drove him for 450 miles, hid him until she left Colorado, then picked him up. That's a theory. So I know that's been mentioned. That just seems crazy to me because that's risky. That's extremely risky to drive. What's 450 miles? About, I don't know,
ugh,
8 hours, 9 hours,
yeah, yeah.
sometimes 10. To drive that far with a dead child's body in a rental car, stow him
It's
away somewhere, then drive back up to Colorado Springs, hang out for a couple days, pack up your house, and then drive back down and pick him up, you're risking the chances of A, being caught on your way down, B, being caught on your way back, C, somebody else finding him in that time that you're away. You're putting yourself on cameras everywhere, from
yeah,
traffic cams to business cameras to I just
yeah. I mean, there's just so many things I don't really want to put my mind in that place, but I mean, by that time there was decomposition. I mean,
Right.
you know, and I saw somebody, I think Sparta said maybe she rented a storage unit along the way. I mean, we might find out something like that. She definitely had that prepaid cash card. You remember the
Yeah, she
green
had
dot card?
a green dot card, yeah.
Yeah. And so she could have been up to, oh, I don't know. I don't know. I just don't know how you drive. I'll never understand how people drive around like that.
Yeah.
And she,
We're not gonna talk about her daughter because
yeah,
as of now, her daughter's 17 years old and we don't know any different. And that's a fine line that I'm not willing to cross here.
right,
She's still a minor.
right. I almost think she had to have moved him twice.
Yeah, I think that. I think that.
And yeah, I think, you told me something earlier about the location they were searching, and I think that it all happened there.
Hmm.
So maybe she moved him 3 times. She moved him somewhere else, and then she took him down to Florida.
That's
And
interesting, Sparta, because it does say,
oh,
doesn't the firearm charge say, it does say
it does say,
use against
wow,
somebody not involved in the crime.
yeah,
That's a
wow.
good catch. Let me read it again.
Ooh, I just got chills. Oh,
So,
yes, working on my gains. That does explain it. Yes. Wow. That's a big.
I don't know. No. Let's
No, she
let's
didn't threaten Lena. No.
yeah,
Let's
let's not
let's
talk
not
about
talk
the
about. Yeah.
minor kids at all, please.
2 rules tonight: no minor children's names, and no
Don't
talking about other creators.
3 rules, no minor children's names, don't talk about other creators, and do not talk poorly about Al or Landon.
Yes.
Those are the only 3 things we're sticking by here.
Oh, Christina. I've thought about that too when I heard about the van. She said,
Yeah.
yeah. Mhm.
I'd be curious to know how well officers searched the home and all her vehicles when they responded on the 27th.
I don't think they searched very well because they were looking for a runaway.
Right,
They weren't looking for a missing child.
right.
But
So I just want to say this, and this is hard for me to even say. I said this earlier. If you, and I've said this the whole time, if you listen to what she says, she tells us a story, right? She's told us a story this entire time. And you can
mhm,
literally take pieces of that story and you can now plug it in places that we know the truth. One of
right.
the things that she said, and she was adamant about this after that security footage came out, was that Gannon came home that day with her.
Yeah.
Is it possible that he did? Just he wasn't alive? I don't know how else to say it. Um,
that would be a huge risk because I would think that she would be on camera at some point moving something to conceal it. She wouldn't just have something in the back of the truck, right?
yeah, yeah,
And unless, it was in he was in somebody else's car at some point and ended up back near the house. I don't. But Al came home he was home the next night, correct?
the next morning, I
The
believe,
next
or
morning.
the next afternoon, something
Noon.
like that.
And Landon was too. So by that time, she was, her window closed.
Mhm. Yeah, so I pointed out that time frame. Remember, because Harley came on and said, or maybe Tisha said it. I'll have to go back. It's all kind of blurred together at this point. But one of them said Harley came home from work at 4:38 p.m. and she took Lena to, was it the dollar store or something?
Yes.
So she has that period of time where Lena and Harley were gone from the house. And she also has the period of time from when she got home at, was it
219 or something.
2:19 until about quarter after 3 when Lena got home, that she could have done anything. And they also said there's other footage that we have not seen.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't know what we haven't seen that day. We
There's a
don't
lot of,
know. She could have, I mean, she could have left the house again when Lena and Harley left the house.
yeah,
Did she? I don't know. Could she have? Yeah. There's a lot of leeway there and a lot of room to come up with some extensive theories, because you just don't know. And I
right.
I always come back to the simplest answer is usually the right one. It's Occam's razor.
Yep.
Um, it doesn't mean it's right. I mean, it could totally be a crazy theory of a story that comes out
No.
comes out as
The,
the truth. It could totally be that. I don't think that any of us ever really thought that he would be found in a suitcase on the side of the road in a
the,
small town in Florida either.
no. But the devil's in the details. And
Right.
she has, I said this earlier in the chat, and I stand by this. I believe that she has truly enjoyed this game of cloak and dagger. Really. She has told her stories. She has placed herself everywhere. We know now that she is the one that called the reporter at Crime Online. She was calling her. That wasn't a pre set up interview. She wanted to talk. She like when somebody brought up earlier that very sad statement about Gannon waving. Like I can make that work.
Right. Yes, he was in a suitcase. That was confirmed by Landon's Aunt Veronica. So Gina, the van, a neighbor said that the day of the interview, correct, Amy? It was
Yes.
the day that she pulled the reporter aside to do that
Mhm.
infamous interview that we've all seen, which
Mhm.
was on January 31st, that she had a moving van at the house.
It was like a box fan, is
Yeah,
my
like the
understanding.
box van, like maybe like a U-Haul van or something, not
Mhm.
like a professional mover,
No.
a rented van.
Darwin, I mean, I hate to sound morbid, but you can fit an adult in a duffel bag. So,
Right.
yeah.
Heidi Broussard was in a duffel bag in a trunk.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Cameron Jones was 10 years old and he was inside of a suitcase.
Yeah.
Gannon was 11 and he was skinny and he wasn't a big kid. So,
Yeah. I hate talking about stuff like that, but
yeah.
it's- I mean, honestly, I could crawl in his
Yes,
stomach.
Jessica. Yes. Piece together that interview with
Hmm.
clues and how she lied. Yep.
Yeah.
She told the story. She did.
100%. I mean, is it okay if I talk about the blood on the truck? Like,
Yeah.
remember you said,
Yeah.
okay, so Daniel was talking about something else, and I'll let her share that with you. But, you know, if she took him out and killed him, she might have, and went through a car wash, she might have been afraid that, she didn't wash off all the blood. And so that's the story about Gannon cutting his foot is not just about the blood they found in the garage. It is about, um, it is absolutely about bandaging his foot on the truck. So in case they found blood near the tailgate, she says that's where he was sitting when I bandaged him up and he was, in quotes, good to go.
Right.
And I told Danielle, I think that, in, you know, passing or whatever, that, I thought she was really saying she was good to go. Like, oh, I explained that away too.
Yeah, she definitely explained everything away from what we have seen just watching this over the last 5 weeks. She had an excuse for everything, a story for everything. And that was something I actually mentioned earlier. I actually messaged it to Amy. I texted her and I'm like, "Okay, hear me out."
Mm-hmm.
And so if you look at the area that they were searching in the monument area, it was a very desolate area. Not desolate, but not like a huge subdivision. The houses are spread out and they're on,
Mm-hmm.
large parcels of land.
Step back from the road.
And a good portion of that search was focused on the side of the road. Almost the side of the road, like right near the edge of the road. We saw pictures of them sifting the snow right there on the side of the shoulder, like
Mm-hmm.
right there. And one thing I had questioned is, okay, so if they're searching that area and it was a productive search, and they're I don't even know how to say this. I don't even think I can say it because it's very
Well, then, if
yeah, it's
and don't.
I
That's why.
mean,
That's why I didn't say
yeah, it's so if they're sifting snow, they're gonna be looking for tiny things, such as teeth, maybe.
it. Mm-hmm.
Um, and if you consider the time of the day, if she went out there that day on the 27th, I mean, are you gonna beat a child to death on the side of the road where people can see you? How are you have to think like her. You have to get inside her head and think like she thought that day. As much as you don't want to, you have to.
Right.
You have to try to put the pieces together. Okay, so she was out in this remote area and
Trying to
they're
figure out what she was going to do.
right, they're sifting snow. What happened out there? Whatever happened out there had to be I feel like it had to be something quick because something that took a lot of force or effort. There's people, it's daytime. People are going to see you. Even
Right.
though it was a vast area, there was still houses out there. There's still people who live out there.
Well, and not only that, if you see an adult on the side of the road, you don't necessarily look as much as if you see an adult and a child on the side of the road.
Right.
That even draws more attention. So,
Yeah, it's
hi, True Helper.
hey, true helper.
Yes, Tammy George, they found Gannon today in Florida on the side of the road in a suitcase, unfortunately.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jessica Turner says, she made multiple crime spots and did it on purpose in order to
Oh,
throw them in loops.
she was all over the
100%.
place. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, Rhonda, I don't know what I mean, so I think you could assume that there was a gun at the house. Albert was military. We don't
Mm-hmm.
know if she owned one. No, we don't know that, but, um, no, Tammy, he was not found alive. The district attorney's office announced on March 2nd, murder charges and said that they did not believe he was alive. Yeah, Jessica, that suitcase that we saw bounce in the back of the truck. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, for all we know, there were rumors about, and they were rumors about luggage being missing from the home. And if they were taking inventory of what could possibly be missing, one of the things could have been a gun, and it
Right.
just didn't make it out. I mean, they certainly kept this very quiet. This was shocking. That they've been what had they been working on this for 2 days?
He was found on the 17th, and the investigators in Florida contacted El Paso County on the 18th, and we
Mm-hmm.
found out, and his autopsy has already been conducted. We found out today that it was him,
Right.
and I don't think anybody knew.
No, that's the thing. It was
That
so
flew under the
quiet.
radar. That really did fly under the radar.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. It's absolutely insane how quiet they kept it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm in Florida. I'm not in that area, but there wasn't anything because believe me, I've been watching the news. There wasn't even anything about a body being discovered. And now I can go back and look now and dig deeper and maybe somewhere locally.
Yeah, it
I don't
was
think it
on
was.
WEAR, I believe, but
Yeah,
and there was another one, but the area, the town he was found in, from my understanding, is pretty small.
it is. It is.
And I don't believe anybody knew. It just said, like, when he was found, it just said a deceased human body. It didn't
Right.
say that it was a child. They didn't say if it was a male or a female. There were
Mhm.
no details. There were no details given where anybody would have been like, "Hey, is that Gannon?"
Right. No, nobody else has been arrested. If Carla M.
Yeah.
Darwin, yep. I think I noticed that about that you before. I can't talk. You know what I mean?
Me too, Christina. I only found 2 articles as well. So,
He was found near the Panhandle, sort of northeast, I would say, of Pensacola.
yeah. Let me see if the picture came through yet. I can.
Yeah,
Yeah,
trailer for that. Yeah, that's exactly what I was trying to
I was
say.
saying it wrong earlier. What?
No, you weren't saying it wrong. It was just like you know,
I wasn't explaining it correctly.
I get paranoid that people are like, meh, meh, meh. You
They
know,
are.
later.
Oops, what am I
So,
doing?
I got your back, sister.
Did I get okay.
Do you have any proof that she was down and around there? We don't know, but Danielle mentioned before, when you look at the FBI agents that are listed as witnesses, I mean, there are agents out of Jacksonville, Florida, and I looked it up today. Jacksonville has about 7 counties, and Pace isn't one of them. Well, Pace isn't a county, but it's just not one of those. It's not there. But and there's a Pensacola FBI office, but it's apparently a smaller office, and they're under the Jacksonville jurisdiction. So somewhere along the way, they must have known that she came through there. They just didn't know where, maybe. Because they are asking, or at least my understanding is that if you have any information about Letitia being in that area during this time, to please call. So they're trying to dial that in.
Yeah, I'm confused about the handgun, knife, and blunt object. Why are there charges for all 3? Isn't that confusing to you, Amy? Or is it just me because my brain is fried this week?
Well, it is, and then I have my own theory about why, and it's just so sick. I can't say
Yeah,
it.
I did a live last weekend about all of the agencies involved, and I listed the Florida ones.
Hmm.
There were I have to pull it up because I don't have it memorized. I also posted it in the Facebook group. I got to find it. There were 4 agents from Jacksonville, Florida. They were not from all over the state. They were from Jacksonville.
Jacksonville.
Yep.
Yeah.
They were all FBI agents from Jacksonville. Sorry, I cut you off. I didn't mean to do that.
You didn't cut me off. I'm just reading. Y'all, I can't, I don't know if Danielle can answer it, but some people are saying they're listed because it was all three of them. That wording was confusing to me, and I actually like it was around 8:45 tonight, called somebody that could answer that for me, and I couldn't get a clear answer. So, um, you know, my summation is that all of them were used based on the conversation I had, but I wouldn't feel comfortable saying that unless I talked to three other people and they gave me the same answer. So sometimes legal wording is misleading. It's just
I also thought maybe they were covering all their bases at the moment. I don't know if they can even do that legally, but
they can.
so you have to consider that Gannon ultimately died almost 8 weeks ago. It would
Let's.
be 8 weeks on Monday, it will be.
Mhm.
And he was found this past Wednesday. So 7.5 weeks he's been deceased, and he was in Florida, and it's hot in Florida. Um, Maybe they can't tell what kind of force was used on him because of decomp.
It's possible. Hold on, I'm going to mute my mic for just a sec, okay?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, Gina, because of decomp. I don't know. True Helper, if you're down there, do you know why they would charge all 3 of those?
It is okay. Let me say it this way. The way it was explained to me is that, and I don't know that this is right, but there's a possibility that they used that because there was evidence that either a gun was used or there's information that a gun was used for coercement, and also that the body was in a condition where like blood force trauma or a sharp object was used. And so, do you get where I'm going with this without having to say it?
Um, yeah, I do. Sorry, I'm kind of just
No, because you know that they look at, fractures. They
right.
look at
They would have done an autopsy on
right,
him, or
right, and
I
we know
mean,
that they did.
X-rays at the
Yeah,
autopsy.
yeah.
So
So yeah, yeah, a gunshot would show on the autopsy. There's some confusion about that. It's the wording of it, and you know,
yeah,
I'm just not really sure.
yes, Melinda. There's a lot that we won't know, and we don't know, and it's going to take a while to know, unfortunately. So, but with an autopsy, they do X-rays. So
Rhonda, don't feel dumb. Rhonda said maybe the charge contains all of those things, and then maybe it was only for one or two list. I don't know. And she says it makes me feel dumb when I type this. Don't feel dumb because that's kind of what I thought when I read it too, was that they were covering all their bases. And we also know that when they take people and they charge them with things, they charge them with a multitude of things, because if
right.
they do believe they're guilty of the crime, they want to be able to convict on something.
Yeah,
I mean, they definitely want to convict all of it, but it's a gamble.
it is. It is a gamble. I. What did True Helper say? So, True Helper, do you think because they charged her with all 3, one was a gun, one was a knife, right? Or sharp object, and one was a blunt object. True helper, do you think that she's charged with all three because she used all three? I think I'm just honestly hoping in my soul that's not why, because
Yeah,
that's
me
that's
too. But
horrific. That's horrific.
yeah, but she's a monster. I mean, honestly, I don't I don't read as much as
If
like
she
some other
pleads
people do.
guilty in jail, would there be a trial? Yes. I mean, unless her lawyer requested that she go straight to,
Well,
but
she would have
usually
to
they,
confess and then accept a plea,
right. Her
right?
lawyer's not going to let her plead guilty.
Mm-mm. Because there's rumors that the death penalty is back on the table, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So there's no way.
So, yeah, I totally understand that they're running DNA to make sure that it's 100% him and the condition of his poor little body. Yeah. But I don't understand why they would use those three different charges. She could,
Well,
Gina.
just
She could. But the death penalty, when's the last time Colorado executed somebody? I,
quite some time.
I don't have the stats pulled up in front of me. You guys, I have to. I'm literally like brain fried today. I'm so tired and so like all over the place. But
Christina says,
yeah,
unfortunately, we all knew whatever came out that she actually did was going to be more horrendous than we'd ever imagined. Yeah, that's why I'm like, she's just at this point. Not that I'm just going to believe anything I hear, but you could tell me almost anything and I'd consider it and want facts to back it up. But I
right.
don't. I started to say I don't read and study as much as like some other people do about cases, but this is like I don't think I've there's only one or two I can think of where somebody was ever this evil.
Yeah, I don't know. I know that she's not going to see the light of day no matter what. I mean, of course, she has to be convicted. Do I feel like she'll be convicted? Absolutely. You don't have 89
Mm-mm.
FBI agents across 10 states.
No. Well, and then you have the issue of her unidentified identity.
Mm-hmm.
So,
What did True Helper say? I think another question that I've seen repeatedly asked today, and I do think it's a valid question, is why wasn't she followed out of the state of Colorado?
yes, I don't get that either.
I truly, truly wonder if Roderick Drayton's surveillance footage was the piece that broke the case.
Yeah.
Maybe they didn't know much before then. Um,
Yeah. You remember they said it was a very important piece or
yeah,
in a big puzzle and it gave them a marker on a timeline.
right.
But why? I mean, I understand they couldn't keep her from leaving town. They could ask her not to, but they couldn't really keep her. But why she would just be
Yeah,
free to go? Unless, I mean, is it possible like she left in the middle of the night and there was some switcheroo at the Burger King drive? I mean, I don't. She's smart. She's no
yeah,
dummy.
yeah. Yeah, and Mata, I'm sure. I mean, they could have got a vibe from her, but unfortunately, they can't. They can't execute search warrants on vibes. Like they can't even
Mm-mm.
execute a search warrant to say bug her car. on a
No.
vibe that they get. They have to have factual evidence. So I think we would have to assume that when she left Colorado, they had no evidence in front of them pointing to her,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
Because if she
Dar-
was even at the very least considered a person of interest, or
right.
on the other hand, maybe she was told not to leave and she did anyways. I don't think.
I mean, that's a possibility too, but I don't I don't know how that works. My understanding is that like they have to have something where they're like, you are not to leave, but they can ask you and they can intimidate you into not leaving. But we also have to remember that she started dropping the harassment words during her back to the camera interview, and I truly believe that El Paso County picked up on that real quick and said, we're not going to have a case of prejudice here. So we're not going to say we have persons of interest. We're not going to, or our definition of persons of interest is anybody that has information.
Right.
Now, and Darwin, you're right. She is street smart. I thought that too. I mean, I think she's a, I don't know what the word is. I've said grifter before, but like a hustler. Like she just knows how to. She's always working an angle or working a game type
She's
of
a
person.
hood rat who put lipstick on. That is what I see. I see this ghetto woman who slapped some.
so, so Nancy Grace says put lipstick on or put perfume on a pig, and you say put lipstick on a hood rat. Love it.
That's what I see. She slapped on some Lily Pulitzer,
Well,
and
she did sell lip sense.
yeah, she
So,
just
mhm.
you can't. I mean, come
Yeah,
on,
I
everybody
see you
knows
guys. Yeah,
you can take the girl out of the hood, but you can't take the hood out of the girl. She's a hood rat.
no.
There's you can see it. It's written all over, and I'm not sorry I said that. I'll own it
Oh
100%.
God.
Yes, a gold digger, a manipulator. She definitely I think she sank her claws into Al and
Mm-hmm.
manipulated him. I'm not gonna use the words I wanna use, but
Right.
she definitely played on played him like a fiddle. That's how I see it, and I
I,
feel very bad for him because I don't think he by any means ever saw this coming,
I don't think he
ever.
did either. You guys have some good words. Good words. Now I've got some song in my head.
You'll use the words for me. You can say 'em, Rhonda. Um, I I just think that she definitely Vera Bradley purses don't help cover that evil. Yeah.
Oh
Okay,
goodness.
so True Helper is saying they probably charged her with
Multiple.
those charges
Yeah.
because the autopsy showed evidence of her using multiple weapons against him.
Right. What's a dependopotamus? I really like that word. And for a second, Rusty, I thought that was shoot the moon, and I got excited because I'm blind.
You thought it was Shoot the Moon
I
coming to
did.
troll us.
I was like, oh, a hobosexual? Well, oh my goodness, you guys. You have your own urban dictionary going on here.
No, a homosexual is somebody who's a bum who just sleeps with people to get a free
I've
place to
never
live. Yeah.
I've never heard that before.
Yeah. That's a
No.
good one, Sparta.
I've heard of U-Haul
That's
girls.
that's the nicest way to probably put it about her, to be honest, my thoughts of her, 'cause that's what I see.
Oh my gosh, I know somebody like that. That's funny. Oh my gosh.
Sparta.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm not yeah, I you guys are funny. You're so
No, I'm
funny.
sure Kevin and
Jill
Amy
H.
Strings will be. Oh my goodness.
You guys.
Oh,
See.
John Wick. Oh, oh, oh.
Aw.
I'm in that situation right now. Except, well, we won't even go into that. But yeah, depend upon us. That was like the. Thank you for bringing some light into the dark. Homosexual. I can't. You've heard that before? I've never heard
Yeah,
that.
there's memes about it, and I laugh every time I see it.
Oh my god, I've only heard U-Haul girls. Like they stay
U-Haul
over for
girls.
like 1 or 2 days, and all of a sudden a U-Haul is like in your driveway.
Oh my gosh.
I've never heard.
That's crazy.
I've never heard that.
So yeah, I definitely think that she an opportunist is what she is,
Mm-hmm.
who used
Oh,
sex to control a man. I swear that's what she did.
yeah.
And I feel really, really bad for Al because I wholeheartedly believe that if he ever suspected his children that this would
Right.
happen, they would not have been in his care.
Well,
Or
he even,
in her care. In her care.
yeah, he even said at the press conference, like the to the person that I gave, what was it? To the person I gave the most to. Is that how he described Tisha?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. True helper. Yeah.
Absolutely, Christina. Absolutely. We'll probably wrap it up soon anyways, just because.
Yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Hmm.
You all girls. Aw. Poor
There's you.
Gannon.
Oh my goodness.
I'm thankful. I think, like I said at the start, I think that we need to be thankful that he was found.
Mm-hmm.
I think this now. I mean, everyone, including his parents, and it's not going to lessen the blow for them in any way, shape, or form.
It's not, but they keep mourning this over and over and over
Right.
again. And they're
Right.
going to have to do it at the trial too,
Right.
if that happens.
They did have a time between March 2nd and today, not very long. Not very long. But they had a little bit of time to grasp that Gannon was gone, and
Was gone.
I know that they wanted him found, and I, I'm sure today is a very overwhelmingly, heartbreakingly relieving day
Mm-hmm.
because now they know where he is.
Right.
They're not going to bed at night saying, "Where's my baby? Where's my son? Where's my 11-year-old little boy? Where did she put him?" They know
Right.
now.
Oh, and
And
now they can
it's
put him to rest
absolutely, yeah, he deserves that.
and
He
honor
deserves
him.
dignity and honor, and he deserves peace, and he deserves a proper burial, and
Right.
not to
And
be
this,
laying on the side of the road in a trash can. Or
mm-mm.
a trash, not like trash on the side of the road in a
Right.
suitcase.
Like in a hobo suitcase. Yeah.
Right, right.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
I'm not trying to,
Christina,
yeah.
it was past time for him to be brought home.
Yeah.
His parents deserve to know where their baby is. Absolutely, they do.
Sharma Lily, there's something going on because I didn't get a notification either. I tried to very quickly put it on our Facebook page. Um, so maybe unsubscribe and resubscribe again. Sometimes that works.
Yeah, I don't usually, let's see. I, I mean, this has been going on for almost 8 weeks. I'm glad that tonight his parents are going to sleep knowing that he's
That they
not,
can,
yeah, he's not out there alone somewhere. He can
Yeah, they can bring their little boy home.
Right.
Right.
So,
Because even, I will say this, even though the police said, they were assuming he was deceased. I don't know what the proper words were that they used, exact words. Um, but I think as a mother, until you have proof, you probably don't ever really truly want to believe that. And this is not going to help anything, but I think it'll help her work through these emotions and be able to
so
rewrite for her baby. What?
I'm going to share this link as soon as I can get to it to create oops, a smaller link. I'm going to create a smaller link and share it. I'll read it. Some of you guys have probably seen it. We've been on here. I've been on here for about an hour and a half now. I had not seen this before I came on here. But Santa Rosa Crime Stoppers, they posted 4 hours ago. Thank you, CD, for sending it. It says, "We need your help. Please share. Law enforcement needs your help. As many of you know, a body was discovered in Santa Rosa County earlier this week. It has been tentatively identified as Gannon Strong, a missing juvenile from Colorado. Investigators believe someone may have seen Letitia Stout in our area during the time frame of February 3rd through 5th, 2020. We know this is asking you to think back quite far. However, any information, no matter how small or insignificant, is crucial. Make sure when you submit your information to be as detailed as possible. Thank you for your assistance during this time. As always, your information is completely anonymous, and your information could earn you up to a $3,000 reward." So, I am going to post a link to this. I've only seen it on Facebook. I'm sure I'll see if they have a actual like website as well. But Santa Rosa County and Santa Rosa Crime Stoppers is asking for anybody who lives in that area to think back to February 3rd to February 5th
Wow.
and see if you can remember seeing anything. And there is a reward being offered of $3,000, and I'm sure that's conditional. I don't even want to talk about rewards on this channel, but
That's not
this is on behalf of Crime Stoppers, so I'm
right.
comfortable sharing it because that is a legitimate.
Yeah, definitely. They work
That's a
in
legitimate.
conjunction, and they're endorsed by law enforcement.
Right, right.
I mean, at least where I live, like when you
Yes,
go to our sheriff's page, like Crime Stoppers is always linked.
yeah. I am dropping the link right now. Oh, Amy had to mute herself for a second. So I'm
I
dropping.
I did. I'm sorry.
You're
Did
fine.
my kids were yelling?
You're
I
fine. I know I
had to
kind
get
of
the spray
just
bottle. No.
sprung this on you. I was like, "Hey, here's a link." Sorry.
No, no, no. And I
Okay,
just
so
lost into. Go ahead.
there's a link. I'm gonna.
Manda. Oh dear. What are you guys talking about, young and dumb? I'm curious. I know I've got to scroll back up. Gina, um, we're not mad at you, sister, but we don't want to talk about anybody that's underage, anybody that's a minor, just out of respect for that. So I guess I missed part of a conversation. Christina says it's pretty amazing during all the chaos in the world right now that the sweet boy will be brought home and reunited with his parents where he belongs. Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Yeah,
Oh, you guys were joking about
you
homosexuals.
guys are still talking. That's funny.
You guys are funny. Mm. Goodness gracious.
I feel guilty coming on here like sniffling and coughing. I do not have coronavirus. I just like to make a public announcement. I do not have coronavirus. It's called allergies.
I don't either. I have allergies
The
too.
pollen is flying here. I can't breathe. I work from home, so I haven't even been my kids have been home for a week now. We haven't even been
Yeah.
around anybody.
Uh, my house has a weird smell, like it's like Lysol and lemons. It kind of smells like, I don't know, like a.
You're right, Sparta. You can't catch it through the chat. Yeah, then you know how like this pandemic's going on, so then you get all paranoid. You're like, oh, well, I have a cough, and oh,
Yeah.
my head hurts. What's going on?
Hmm.
So
Yeah, and just all the stress will make your body not feel good.
yeah.
So, yeah.
So
About seven. Sharmalili says, "How long has he been there?" We decided 7 weeks. Is that what?
so Monday was 7 weeks that he was missing. When his body was found on Wednesday, it had been 7.5 weeks. But she didn't leave Colorado till after the 31st, I believe.
Right.
So I think that they are thinking that his body and Santa Rosa Police Department and law enforcement and Colorado law enforcement, Colorado Springs, El Paso County, specifically El Paso County, they're asking for any information for the specific dates between February 3rd to February 5th. So you have to assume that that's when he would have been there, when he would have been taken there.
Right.
So at that point, he would have been gone
5.
7 to 10 days.
Okay. Yeah.
Because the 27th was a Monday, the 3rd was a Monday, and the 5th was actually um 5 weeks, right? From the time he was found.
Yes, I believe so. I can pull up a calendar if you want me to look.
Oh, I can look. I can 1, 2, 3, 6. 6 weeks. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. So when he was found on the 17th, it had been 6 weeks since February 5th. So you can assume at the very least he was out there 6 weeks to 6 weeks in a couple days.
Gosh.
Yeah, it's yeah, that's true, Jill. My 11-year-old was spraying it earlier, and I'm like, "Whoa, back up! What are you doing? We only have one can of that right now. Might have two if I go digging in a closet and find one, but no."
Do you know last night I went upstairs to get something, and I somebody left a bathroom light up. It's like a room we never used, and so I shut it off, and I happened to look in the little linen closet in there, and there were 4 bottles of alcohol, and you would have thought I struck gold. I mean, I was like, "Oh my gosh, I didn't know I had this!" So
Yeah,
excited.
it's funny.
Such a different different world, I guess. I don't think I've ever gotten that excited about isopropyl alcohol.
So, Gina, if they're asking for that specific he was found there 2 days ago, and they're asking for the specific dates of February 3rd to 5th of seeing Letitia there in that area. I mean, I don't know. I would assume that he would have been there the whole time.
Well, somehow they've estimated that timeline for her there,
Right.
right? I
And they
mean,
they told us on March 2nd that they believed that he was deceased
mm-hmm,
and that they believed that he was killed on January 27th. If you look at
right.
the charges, they specifically state January 27th was the day that on or about, which is something that they always put in criminal charges when they nail down a date. So, what? Let's see. So
Yeah.
she lied about being in Colorado Springs when she was saying she was living in hotels, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Well,
yeah,
I
I
mean,
mean, she would have been living in hotels across the country, I guess, right?
right. There's a
Driving.
little bit of truth in
Good
everything,
night,
right?
Anne. Good night, Anne. Yeah, I'm with you, Amanda. That's what I think. I think she left him there during that time frame. So she told us that she was living in hotels, and I think everybody assumed she was in Colorado Springs.
Right.
But
No,
I'd have to go back to my messages to see when I was first told that she was in South Carolina. Let me look.
Taylor says, did El Paso County release their car to her, or were their cars, trucks still being held to search for evidence?
Their
I believe
cars.
all the cars were seized.
Yes.
Every car registered to that address to any person that could legally drive in that house had their car seized.
Right. Let me see if I can figure out what day I was told. I should probably know.
Yeah, Yvette, I believe they do. Oh. Yeah, Sparta, they have been in the 60 to 70 degree weather. So it's been consistently warmer up there lately. And Charm Lily, yes, she has Gannon's location was her opportunity or her her opportunity to do something right, but her bargaining tool, and like she does not have that anymore.
Let's see.
Um, Bad fish. Her name always makes me laugh. She probably made that interview after she came back. Yeah. And the interview people said I disappeared, but I didn't. That's interesting. She did say that.
What did she say?
So she said she probably made that interview right after she came back. Like came back from being in Colorado Springs and moving around and doing whatever she was doing because she said in the interview, Letitia says in the interview, people said I disappeared, but I didn't.
Oh yeah, she did say that.
And there is I don't know if this is true or not, but I've heard that on the 28th.
Hold on, Tammy, please don't threaten anything against police. Please.
Yeah.
It's really not even a funny joke.
Here, we'll just.
I got it. I cut you off. I'm sorry.
No, no, no. You're fine. You're fine. I don't even. I That was so shocking. Um, Christina said, we know she did her media interview on 131. So she left Colorado sometime after that and made it to Florida between 2-3 and 2-5. Yeah.
Yeah.
But there were like, there was some chatter about how nobody had any idea where Tisha was on the 28th.
Right.
And I think that's so when she did her 131 interview, she said, people say I disappeared, but I haven't. Here I am, you
Right.
know, and almost like flippantly. And so who knows what was going on during that time.
Yeah, and she actually made up an excuse for the 28th and said that she rented a car when she picked Al up from the airport, and they used that car to drive around and look for Gannon
Oh, that's right.
because if he was hiding and ran away and saw any of their vehicles, he wouldn't come to them. Those weren't her exact words, but that was the
Yeah. And that's ridiculous because by
basics
that
of what
point,
she said. Yeah.
any child would be so scared. They wouldn't even care if they were like, air quotes, in trouble. They would be running to their parents' car.
Angelique, that is a great point because I actually bumped this post and somebody brought this up a couple weeks ago, I think, they asked who Tisha was speaking to in the interview when she said, "I need Harley, please." She
Yes.
wasn't speaking to Harley, she was speaking to a third person.
Mm-hmm.
And people are curious who that third person is. That's a good question.
Yep. And Christina's pointing out that she did return the rental on 129,
Yes.
the first rental.
Right.
Amanda, you say, and she claimed in her, oh, in her cousin
Aw,
interview.
thank you, Doodlebug, for
Listen,
being here.
yes.
Love you.
Good night, Doodle.
Okay, so she claimed in her cousin interview that she wasn't missing. Remember that? Yes, Amanda.
Oh my goodness, Musty. Well, I think she is probably isolated. She's probably, well, actually, because they found the body today, she would definitely be under suicide watch, wouldn't she? Or mental health, or whatever you call it. She would
Yes.
be turtle suiting. Yeah.
Taylor, she did say that. You have a good memory. She said that her aunt had been out there helping search.
Open search, yes.
Hmm.
Yeah, I would have loved to see her public defender tell her too.
Yeah.
I'm sure that they have it on video.
Yeah. I don't know. I believe her interaction between her and her public defender specifically
Well,
is not videotaped, but if law
it,
enforcement
it's
told her.
it's not, but sometimes what they do is while they're waiting for them to go, they'll put them in an area where they can see a
Okay.
TV to get a reaction.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. So I think we're going to wrap it up because, to be honest with you, I'm tired.
I know.
And I don't know. I'm definitely going to come on tomorrow sometime. I don't know what time, but I will be way more prepared and less scattered all over the place.
Well, this
Um,
was just such difficult news for everybody that it was difficult for you to even think about how to do this.
yeah, I wasn't going to come on actually at
Like,
all.
yeah.
And then I got quite a few messages and tags, and I appreciate all of you very much. So just make sure you light the chat up for little G Man
Oh,
and kiss your babies tonight, your
yeah.
grandkids, your family. Say some prayers for Landon and
No.
Al and Lena and Nova. And
Yeah.
thank you, Jill. I'll be back tomorrow. I'm just it's been a crazy week for all of us, I think. Between
Yeah.
everybody across the country checking across the world, really, huh?
Well, it just,
Checking updates all day long and
our world is just changing from
yes,
moment to
yes,
moment.
seeing,
Yeah.
what grocery stores are closed and what towns are shut down and what's happening next.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just, I said earlier, this week has been a long month and I feel
Has.
like it's been a month long. So
Has. And we're like, when we're experiencing our own things, we're always thinking about you guys and hoping that you're well and safe and everything like that too. So,
yeah. So until next time, guys, I should be back tomorrow. I will be way more prepared. Thanks for joining me tonight.
oh, good night.
Good night. And
No Taco Bell.
yeah, Taco Bell's done. No more Taco.
Yeah, it's
Those
okay.
days are over for now. It's okay. So,
It is.
everybody have
All
a
right.
good night. Thanks for being here. Bye, guys.
Good night, True Helper. Good night,
Thank you
everybody.
to all of my mods. Thank you so much for all your help down there. I appreciate all of you and all of my subs. You guys are great. Have a good night, everybody.